What is up? So hello. Schedule. Yeah, I just opened it to see. Yep. Your voice is lagging little. Yeah. Now it's better. And says 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday. Almost.
Alright. So now we're live. 1 second. Let me just check if the audio and everything is good on the stream. So now we're
I think lighting, you can't see your face properly on the stream. Can you hear me?
yeah, it's alright. We'll fix that soon. For today, let's just do market analysis and a pre-market breakdown before the week begins. It looks like a pretty interesting week ahead. Let's see. Alright, so this is our first video on DC Trading and Company. We're just looking to provide knowledge and looking to provide ideas. This is not a financial or institution or advice by any means possible. This is literally mentioned in the disclaimer as just an insight into an individual's thought process of how trading goes on, and that is me. And so I'm DC, and yeah, this should be fun. Let's just see. I'm just giving it a shot. So let's just do some pre-market analysis. This will be a short video, and see what we can expect in this coming week and what opportunities are there. As you see, we got gold, GU, uh, GJ, GBP, AUD, Euro, New Zealand. So it's a pretty fire week we got ahead, looking at how a lot of the candles have closed. So right now we're just going to look at the news that's in this coming week. So I like to use Forex Live and Forex Factory because both of it gives you really important and detailed news. So that's really good. So as seen, so this week we do have quite a few GBP news. We have Bailey speaking twice this week. Yeah, a lot of GBP news. There's USD CPI on Wednesday, FOMC member stock, crude oil inventories, etc. We have some important Canadian news now. It doesn't affect us directly because we're not trading any Canadian pairs at all, but we have core retail sales and retail sales month to month USD on Friday. So another week with quite a lot of news. So we have bank holidays, Euro bank holiday, and yeah, so this looks pretty interesting. Tomorrow morning 7 a.m. we have Australian news of retail sales. So GBP AUD is something we'll have to look at carefully, as we look into it. And so looking at Forex Live, yep, they have the exact same thing, except over here they have more news that's over here that's mentioned. So we have some German news coming in on Wednesday. We have some British news on Wednesday too. So we're just going to keep all these things in mind. I personally don't like to trade during news hours, so I keep this in mind in order to avoid it. And also what I normally do is we look at the forecast, we look at what is happening, we read the news, we look at the sentiment in the market, and we want to know what's probably happening. Like if the UK is opening up, probably we're going to get a stronger GBP pound, and so that's many things we got to keep in mind, the fundamental aspect of it, before we go into the technical. Because if we see that there is a lot of positive news towards the Great British Pound, then we're going to look for buys, definitely, according to the fundamental analysis that we have. And if it's going to be weak, if countries are locking down and all, we'll be looking at how that's going to affect the stock markets and the economy, right? So that's what we're just going to look at now. We're just gonna take a quick look. So yeah, this is good. If there's anyone in joining in and you want to send in charts, please do. First time, I'm not expecting anyone to be watching this video, but it'll be interesting. Anyway, so let's look at GJ, being one of the most popularly traded pairs, and seeing how the monthly candle is going. So far we've respected the high and the low. We're coming up to a resistance at 578, 152, 578, which is a key zone, of course, for GJ, which has been rejected multiple times. So what I like to do is I like to find a psychological level. So usually it's around 150. Yeah, so I find the nearest psychological level. I go down the time frames too, go to the weekly, find the thing. So over here we see it rejecting this resistance as of now. It's rejected it once, twice. Over here we're coming up. This week also has closed over here, just closing slightly above this, but it's not a clear break. So we're going to readjust this resistance. So I'm just going to keep it there, and we're going to look. We have a support down here on the weekly, right at 690. So when we go down to the daily time frame, we see there is an important resistance right at this point, right? So we see prices come up again. Prices try to break this level, but it hasn't been able to break this level. But what we do see on the 4-hour time frame is we are now creating a small support over here, right? We're creating a support over here. Sorry, this is the daily time frame. So we are respecting this resistance, closing below it, and we are also creating a support on the daily time frame. So what we'd want to do is look at this more detail on the 4-hourly. So we could take this level of resistance, which has been respected time and time again. If you look carefully, this level of resistance. So we're just going to take it to a close psychological number like 150 to 100 as seen. 150 to 100 has been rejected again and again and again and again, even rejected on the 4-hourly, which is closed as a bearish candle for the week. And so seeing that, we are looking at this level of rejection being a really strong level of rejection. So I'm just gonna mark this level off. This week we were expecting, last week we were expecting a break but didn't get the break. But it's all good, we follow price action. We don't try to create our own price action. So when we're looking at it, we see that this level of resistance is a key level of resistance, right? We've rejected it once, twice, thrice, etc. So we're also looking at this key level of support that we're seeing formed on the 4-hour. So that will be approximately around, we could say 450 at least. I'm pretty sure it's going to come further down as we go down the time frames, but on the 4-hourly, we can see that the level of rejection as a support is over here, 490. We're gonna go down the time frames to the hourly. Okay, so 490 seems to be holding that level of rejection. We have a minor fake out over here, but it has respected it well, on Friday. Yeah, it's respected on Friday really well. So that's a region I'm gonna mark off too, because now it's getting really important. We have a price level, of 500, 151, 500 that is rejecting that level. So yeah, Gypsy, you're getting this?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah. All right. So we have come up, rejected a daily time frame and a weekly time frame resistance. On the 4-hourly, we are coming down. So this is a daily and a 4-hourly support over here. So it looks right to come down and retest it. And so actually, I would personally be looking for some shorts this week, seeing this clean traffic to the left. You see this clean traffic? So we're looking to target this clean traffic. Of course, we have a few zones of interest as we are coming down, but we'd most probably be looking for a good move down. So seeing that we've broken down really well before market has closed for the week, we've rejected it multiple times this week. Look at it. When was this? 29th April. So since 29th April, we've been rejecting the zone. 21st, so that was 29th April. 30th April, we tried pushing up, and then again on 5th May, on 6th May, and on 7th May, we've rejected the zone. So what we're seeing is a clear rejection of this top resistance, which is a really important zone on 150 to 100, which I'll actually be expecting to continue down in order to break these lows, right? So what we're going to check out is what is the market structure looking like. So I would say there are really safe sells below this region, but knowing that it has rejected this region too, we have some clean traffic coming down to 151 100. 1 second. 151 100. So you see that we have a support made over here. 151 100 is coming right down over here. So you see what we're looking for. I like to use some of the 2-hour and the 3-hour confluences, especially when the market isn't, playing it up right and straight. Like this week was a very messy week on GJ, as if you notice the way the candles have printed. Messy week. But here we see that, on the 3-hour, 4-hour, it gets a lot clearer. So where if we have a 4-hour candle close below this support, we're looking to drive it down to the next support, right? So what range are we looking at? 35 pips. So we'd actually be looking for a clean move down over here when we break this, because we have this clean traffic towards our left. This is just using higher time frames to find confluences, on the lower time frames. This is a zone of crazy volatility. Of course, we see that in this region we've pushed many times, mirroring moves in the past. So that's what we want to do. We want to mirror these moves. So as you've seen, there's volume over here, there's volume over here. In this 35 pip range, there's volume over here. So that's what we're looking for. When we enter this region, we want to see volume push it down to 151 100 to get some good sells. Of course, there were some risky sells up here in this region, but for me, I like to be on the safer side, knowing my trade is going the right way. So yeah, let's see how market opens. Probably on Monday morning when we do our first Asian session trade, we're probably not going to go full blown with a trade like instantly. We're probably going to wait for some time to see how the market opens, right? Because we want to see where it gaps and what it does. So as of now, I'm probably looking for sells below this region, but if we have a support created up here, I wouldn't mind taking sells back down. So what I would say is, so if you look at this region right here, 780, okay, it's a region we've retested a lot, right? It's an area of support. In the past, we rejected it and even came up and made it a resistance. We broke it and then created a resistance. So as seen, you all can see it came down, faked out, went back, broke, came up, retested, broke again, retested, broke again, went back up. So we're seeing that this level is a point of interest. So on Monday morning, if we're able to form a support over here, be it in the Asian or London session, depending on how the market gaps, whether it's gapped already past this or not, we determine whether we're going to take sells over here or sells over here. And sells over here would be very cautious, okay? Because we want to see if price is going to reject this area again in order to go back up, right? So we want to see price close below this region, definitely on the 4-hour time frame, because that would give us confluence breaking the 4-hour time frame support in order to push down. Otherwise, we want to be very cautious with our trades in this region. But as of now, the market is looking it's looking optimistic. We should always stay optimistic and be smart about it. Gypsy, you have any questions?
Nope, just excited for the week.
Yes, it's looking good. I like the clean candles over here to this side, hopefully we get a push. So yeah, so that's basically GJ. So we're either going to look at a support being created over here in order to break this and push back down, or we're going to look for price to push down and go back up. Oh wait, I can just combine these two. So push up in order to continue up, or we are looking for it to break, probably retest this region because it's significant and continue back down. All right, so we're just looking for really clean break of zones, clean break of structures. We want to break this support that's out here in order to continue back down, where we can renegotiate and retest this region where we can get some good trades in. So I'm just gonna leave this here, where we want to be cautious and understand what the market is showing us, right? So yeah, so this is my breakdown for GJ. I think it's pretty clear and clean. Uh, you know, just trying to get it real neat. So if anyone wants to just take a look, this is a brand new YouTube channel, guys. It's just me giving my outlook on the market. It's interesting and it seems to be fun. So, 1 second. So yeah, I'd really like to see what the market offers us this week. I just hope it's not rangy stuff, because we've been doing that a lot of late. So let's see, May 4th to 7th. So this was the last week, okay? We got few moves, but this again was a move in the New York session where I was able to catch 60 pips from this. I was just lucky to catch that 60 pips, but yeah. Over here, we've taken quite a few trades last week, but overall, can you see this mess? A majority of the week was spent in that mess. So we definitely want to be really cautious of the way GJ moves, because so far this year we've been seeing a lot of consolidations and dirty moves, but we look to see how it can be better. Alright, so let's move to GU, because I know a lot of people trade GU. It's an interesting pair to look at, especially where the US dollar is concerned, where we're looking supply and demand, understanding what is happening in the market. The way the Feds are printing more notes, and the way they're pumping the stock markets, the way they're pumping cryptocurrencies, etc. So GU is interesting. I really haven't seen a clean price action in GU this year as yet, although sometimes it pays off, but most of the time right now it's just the dirty range we're looking at, dirty moves, dirty price action. So as of now, we've closed. Okay, the monthly candle is still not closed. We want to see if we're going to break the previous monthly candle. We formed a minus support down here in this region, which is really important. So right now, GU is looking very bullish on the monthly time frame, where we're looking where we can retest these highs at 890 or 900. Yeah, 141 900, I would say. I really like clean psychological levels, So yes, so right over here you see it's a rejection on the weekly time frame where we faked out once. It's a major rejection, but we gotta be cautious because we are approaching a weekly resistance, right? So we gotta look at this carefully. We've rejected this 1, 2, 3, 4, and we haven't closed above. So 5 weeks, we've rejected it for 5 weeks continuously, right? So we want to keep this in mind. We really want to keep this in mind. This is an important zone, a very important zone. So I would say 1.40100 would be our rejection zone. Yep, that would be a key rejection zone on the daily. We have a support down here. As we move down the time frames to the 4 hourly, yep, this is our rejection zone at 860, 38, 860. We're coming up to this resistance. No problem. Going to the 1 hour, you see we've rejected this resistance. We've created a minor support over here on the 1 hour. We have a clean candle right beside this. So overall, we're looking very bullish, but we're also at a major, like on the monthly, we're looking really bullish, but as we come down the time frames, we see we're entering a major zone of rejection, you know. And so what we want to do is we want to be really careful, honestly. We want to see how price forms over the week. Probably let price form on Monday and then figure where it's going to push on Tuesday, because then you at least have some direction. So as you've seen, this support has been respected in the past at 416, 39,416. So I would round that off to 39,400, honestly, because as you see, that's a psychological level which is being rejected, right? As we come down to the half an hour time frame also, yep, it's a key level. So we're just going to keep these levels in mind. On the 4 hour time frame, we have a clean GU traffic, 4 hour clean candles going all the way up, although it really struggled last week to push. And so we have a support which we're going to keep in mind. So GU can do anything, of course. We have 2 more weeks left in May. So looking at this, how did this weekly candle close? So if we have a next weekly candle, right? The next weekly candle create a lower wick, and towards the middle of the wick continue up, then we're probably looking at a very bullish GU move, because see, we could come down, create a lower wick, and then continue back up like that to break this resistance. But that would be very optimistic, of course, but we're still looking for opportunities, right? We want to keep these opportunities in mind, because like we said, we want to follow the financial market and take whatever it can give us. So right over here, we're seeing, oh, there's a psychological level right over here, like a really important one. Yep, 1.4. That's an interesting psychological level. 1.4. Yep, it's been respected a lot in the past. So I'm just gonna change that. 1 second. Yeah, so as seen, 1.4 is the region we're looking at. We're looking to see if we have any fake outs. As seen in the past, we've had a minor fake out that side. On the 4 hour time frame, fake out on the 2 hour time frame, a clear rejection. On the 1 hour time frame, a clear rejection. So if we break this region, honestly, we should be heading up. But of course, I'd be careful. I'd probably take it above 140-100. Candle close above 140-100. Probably an hourly candle close above 140-100. Only because that's the safer buys. Because we know that GU can retrace real hard. But yeah, so we're going to keep this in mind, and if y'all are free, join me on the agent session where we could look at this in more detail. Like, I was able to give y'all a more clear chart on GJ because of the way it has formed. GU is a little less clear since it's right at a really important rejection, yet it's on a really crazy bull run on the weekly time frame. So we really want to see this, so you see this weekly candle, how it's closing really massively bullish, engulfing, right? It's closing above all these candles in this region. So that's massive bullish move last week by the GBP pair. So we're going to keep this in mind. All right, we just want to keep this in mind. It's going to help us throughout the week. So that's good. Honestly, I suggest like you let it play out. You let it play out before taking any trades on GU, because I want to see clean market structure, right? Clean market structure. So on gold, oh man, gold was, for me, was such a disappointment this week. I missed out on at least 500 pips on gold. So on the monthly time frame, we're coming up on gold. Coming up. We're coming up to a weekly resistance. We have broken this lower resistance, and so now what I would think is we're most probably coming up to 1855 on the weekly time frame, because we've closed really bullish. Last week's the weekly candle closed off 700 pips. The last weekly candle was 700 pips. So if you bought on a Monday, GG's to you. You're having a lot of fun. So let's see this. Is this the rejection level? Yep. So I would look at this region. You see we're approaching this region of rejection. Can you see that? Clear rejection right over there. So what I'm first gonna do is find a nice psychological level. Okay, I love to use psychological levels. So if you wanna follow along, go for it. You know, each one's chart markups are personal. So I really love to see some of the charts you guys make. You Forex traders out there. So yeah, so we're moving up to this daily rejection. Luke Trades London is then the YouTube. 2 viewers, and Luke is one of them. That's awesome, man. Luke, great to have you. Just giving a small pre-market analysis, just testing out the stream basically, man. So yeah, so we're just checking it out. We're coming up to a rejection on the daily. It coincides with a nice psychological level. If we see a daily candle close with that rejection, that would be interesting. But as of now, you wouldn't want to look for sells on gold. You definitely don't want to look on sells for gold. So as we go up to the 4-hour time frame, I just show you guys how bullish we've been. You see this? We have respected these levels. You see that? Support, respected, continued up. Formed support, and this was a resistance. Price broke through, tried to push up. Right? It formed another resistance up here. It pushed down in order to retest this resistance, right? So if we go to the daily time frame, we could actually consider this a break and a retest for the week in order to continue pushing up, where we actually did come exactly to that level and push up again. And a lot of people caught some beautiful moves on this. This happened on Thursday, the first move, which I was so disappointed to miss out on. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, as everyone says. So it moved up. It broke the resistance. It moved up like 250 pips maybe on Thursday. Yeah, 210 pips, 230 pips. And it formed a minor support, and it just continued flying. So yeah, from Thursday to Friday, anyone could have made close to around 460 pips for those who have been holding since down here. And so yeah, it's very interesting, understanding how NFP played a really important role in this move. This was NFP, really pushing price up. So understanding fundamentals is very important, guys. You don't want to be in the markets this time without knowing NFP is going on, because that would just wreck you, trust me. And so what we're gonna look at on gold is this is on the 4-hour time frame. We have a support down here at 1814, probably 1814, or yep. So we have a support down there. We want to see if we could probably come down to this support or this support at 1818 in order to continue back up. Yeah, 1818 is where we have that rejection in order to continue back up. So what we want to see is price come down and reject this area multiple times, right? reject that area or reject this area multiple times. So that's what we want to see, right? We want to see price reject a support in order to continue back up, since we are already in this uptrend, right? So on the higher time frames, we'd firstly want to see a low created probably up here. Honestly, my opinion would be if we reject at 1818, we would be creating a higher low, right? A low. We want to see a higher low, and then mirror this clean traffic back up there. All right, Gypsy, you get what I'm aiming at?
Yep.
You get what
Yep.
we're looking for? We're just looking at clean price action and market structure, right? We want to be in the safest place. You don't want to take a trade in a place where you don't feel safe, so because then you're just going to get battered, you know. So right over here we have this support. Going down to the hourly time frame, so we've been rejecting this area, okay? I'm saying if we respect this throughout Asian tomorrow, we could probably see a really nice push in London, or yeah, possibly even in the New York session. New York and New York Stock Exchange gold just flies, guys. I would suggest trading it in the New York Stock Exchange open time. It's just absolute fire, you know. It just flies like crazy. So that would be awesome, you know. So yeah, Luke, if you have anything to contribute, that would be awesome, man. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna look on gold. I'm primarily looking for buys, guys. I'm really looking for buys. If it breaks an important support like this, we could look at, you know, at least retesting these highs. So I would say we could probably come down, yeah, 40-50 pips on gold is absolutely nothing. You know, you could probably get that in one 5-minute candle or one 15-minute candle. But again, the risk is that much larger. So probably a clean break of the zone, a really clean one, would really take it down to retest these highs in order to continue up, which should again give us the market structure we're looking for on the higher time frame, right? So on the higher time frame, we would probably have 121, 500, that region, you know, that would give us that higher time frame confluence, like the 4 hours would probably create a higher low, which we could then push back up, right? So that's what we want to see on gold. So if I go back to the 15-minute, I'm just going to show you all what I'm looking for. So right now gold is creating a support over here, so I would be looking for a break of this region. Many times gold could do a retest, but gold can just push when it wants to push. All right, so that's what I'm primarily looking for. But if it respects this region and, you know, probably rejects it another time and then breaks the resistance created in this area, we could really push up to these tops to retest previous highs, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to see where price is going to retest previous highs. Oops. So yeah, so we could do that, but of course we got to keep this minor resistance in mind, you know. We want to make sure that we're not reacting to this region, or probably you could use it as a TP, you know, as a first TP. Of course it's 30 pips, so who wouldn't want to cash 30 pips in that region? So this is what I'm looking for on gold primarily as of Monday and Tuesday. But, you know, gold can just fly and, you know, disappear out of this zone. So that's a different issue altogether. Be careful, guys. The one thing I can tell you is you gotta be so cautious on gold. All right, see you, Luke. It was awesome having you. All right. So one thing is you wanna be so careful on gold. Gold is very volatile. You wanna have tight stops, and, you know, you want to make sure everything is good, because it could be dangerous, you know. When we look at GBP AUD, I had some fantastic trades on it. Looking at the monthly time frame, so Gypsy, I'm looking at encouraging you all to look at GBP AUD also during the week. Include this into your you know, pairs you're looking at, because honestly it's a beautiful pair to trade. it gets a little messy. The price action is little delayed compared to like GJ. GJ just pushes, you know. But over here on GBP AUD, you could probably see minor differences. So let me just find a nice psychological level. There you go. You see that psychological level we've rejected? You know, that's really important. We're coming down to this psychological level. And oh, look at those whole numbers. I love it when I see those. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna look at coming down at this support. Alright. So weekly we broke the previous week, we broke the high, but we closed bearish below the support. Which is really good, of course, which is really good. So we just need to see some more clear zones and levels in this region. We're looking at a daily support down here, support over here. The thing with GBP AUD also, it has so much of volume. So much of volume. So yeah, that would be interesting. So we have a high over here at 71.7980. Yep, that looks really good. And we've broken a 4-hour support over here, and yeah, I think I can leave it at 450. Even the 500 works. So yeah, you want to keep this in mind. So far we want to see clean breaks, but what we have over here on the 4-hour time frame is a 30 pip range down to another 4-hour support. 30 pips is good, but like if you're taking sells, you don't want to hold. If you're like a 10 pip trader, you don't want to hold. You want to take your 10 pips and get out of here, right? And what we're looking at is, yeah, it's a region of rejection. So I'd actually be looking at some high risk buys over here. But let's see. We are in a bullish market as of last week. So let's see if we're able to break this resistance up here. Gypsy, you see this resistance here?
Yep.
So if we're able to break this resistance up here, okay, so now you see you have to constantly keep adapting as you move lower in the time frame. Yeah, the 500 region actually works for that. If we're able to break this resistance, we have this one clean candle moving up, and we could have targets up here at the 900 region. And yeah, if we break below, we go far left, we have this region of rejection, which is annoying me. I don't think I would take a trade in that region of rejection. I think I just look for this clean traffic. This is the way I trade, guys. I like to look for the clean traffic. If I don't see my setup, I don't take the trade. Alright. So yeah, that's my outlook on GA. Let's just check this range, okay? And remember, we have some Australian news also coming out. So Monday could really form well. If it's strong for the Aussie dollar, it's gonna fly up. We have a 37 pip range. That would be interesting. Okay, so let's just look at this clearly. If we push up to retest this resistance again, right? Retest it. Come back down, probably create a support somewhere here and break it. I would take sells back down here. And if we were to break this, retest, or you know, just continue pushing up, I don't mind taking the buys up there. So that's primarily what I'm looking at. But I would actually really want to see price the sells look good and the buys look good, but these are short-term sells, you know, where you're just looking in and out. Whereas you could probably take some buys and hold it only because on a daily, weekly time frame we're rejecting off a support, right? And so unless we break this region at 177 flat, 1.77 flat, then we'd probably be heading back down. On the daily time frame, where do we need to close? Let's just look at that. Okay, where do we need to close on the daily time frame? So we have this massive fake out. Yeah, I think on the daily time frame we need to close below 690, 177, 690 in order to continue pushing down. That would be a good move because I think that would be a good volume push. But if we do reject this region, because you see we haven't broken the previous lows, so if we do start creating if we do close on Monday with a bullish candle, we could look to go up, because you see every time we've come down to this region we've created a higher low. So, and this hasn't disrespected this low, so we're looking at it if it can create a higher low. So Gypsy, is this clear? This is my market outlook
Yep,
for
all clear.
GBP AUD. Okay. So Euro Yen, sorry, not Euro Yen, Euro New Zealand. This was an interesting pair. I got about 60 pips this week on Euro New Zealand, which was awesome. It was a fire trade this week. So anyway, so looking at Euro New Zealand, anyone who trades it, you all know that we call Euro New Zealand the dragon, because when it moves. Monthly we've already broken the low, so we should be looking for sells, but we could be respecting and rejecting this support down here. So I would say interesting. 600. Ooh, 1.666. Damn. Okay. Let's just move it out of there to 66500. Alright. Coming down to the weekly. Okay, so you see how we have to readjust this because the support is lower, which we've rejected. 66100 on the weekly. We have come up and rejected this support, created a fake out also once. So I would say around 800 also was rejected over here, because I have seen price rejected a few times. Okay, and yeah, I think if we break this region, we could be coming up here to this next resistance, which would be interesting. So as you see, we've had a support here, right? At 66800, and we broke it. Everyone was all excited, we broke it. The next candle came and closed back above 800. So that was basically a fake out on the daily time frame. And so now we are beginning to create a small, we're beginning to again respect this support, right? I think last week we got a trade on GJ, it's called a fake out and a retest. So it faked out, went back in, retested, right? So that was a fake out and a retest, and we want to see if we can get some good buys up to this region. Of course, we want to be cautious in this region, but if we are able to push up, right? So you'd see a daily candle continuing bullish, breaking the two tops. You'd see a weekly candle moving back up, respecting this region. So we'd first want to see a weekly candle go down and then continue back up. And so that's what we want to see, alright? Clean moves. We see a 4-hour resistance up here. That is, honestly, it's looking really clean so far. 4-hour resistance, come down to the hourly. Honestly, if we break up this way, like I said, Euro New Zealand has a lot of volume. So if we do break above this, yeah, there is this small caution right over here. but we could be headed up to this previous resistance, right? So you see this area of rejection previously a lot of times. Most probably would push up here. So if we do see price forming really well during this week, a clean break of this resistance and then a nice push up, we could probably take 10 pips up here, because like I said, it's a very volatile pair, so that would be 20 pips all the way here. 10 pips leave runners in order to push up, because it would continue, and then look to scale in as we break this resistance, scale in as we're going up, because we'd want to retest these highs, right, in order to continue pushing up. But also remember, we need to keep in mind that the euro does have a bank holiday on Thursday, so we need to keep that in mind. But regardless, there's always volume and movement in the financial markets, right? Because there are so many other aspects that are there to the financial markets. So looking at it, I've given you my outlook on GJ. GJ is looking a lot better than the other pairs, but we could be looking at a fantastic week. If y'all do want to join us during the weekdays, I will be streaming from tomorrow onwards at 5 a.m. Indian Standard Time, which is going to be very interesting as it's very early for me. But trading is about discipline, right? So I'm not saying that I'm a professional over here. I'm saying that I want to show you my growth. This is like a progress check for me. Posting on YouTube and live trading is a progress check to see how disciplined I will be, to see how committed I am to my goals, and how you should be committed to your goals, right? And so this is a very interesting market we're looking at. If you're looking to trade the financial markets, remember that this is not a get rich quick scheme. You're understanding that there is risk involved. You're understanding that just like everything in life, you need to put some hard work. You need to have the knowledge to do the right things, right? So I would be expecting y'all to come into this market and expect to make smart decisions. There is no trader in the world who has no losses. Everyone makes losses, but you always want to keep your losses small and your winners big. That's what every trader aims for. You want to be sure that you're making the right moves, you're making calculated moves, because you need to have calculated risk, right? If you don't have calculated risk, then you're looking to get burned by the market. So you want to apply dynamic risk management. You want to apply strong levels of discipline, because discipline is very important in today's world, in anything you do, right? So those who are looking to get into the financial markets, shoot me a DM or anything. We could work on something. I could probably help you all understand how this market works, because honestly, in the world we live in today, we're all sitting at home. Every single person has a computer. Every single person has been gifted with amazing brains and knowledge. So let's put that to the best of our ability, right? We could make use of it. And for all those business kids, if y'all have understood economics and the way supply, demand, and the world works, y'all could really look at capitalizing on the foreign exchange market. So it'd be exciting. I'm super excited to do my first Asian live stream. I probably won't be calling a trade out tomorrow, but I will be taking trades live, eventually. Tomorrow we're probably going to do a round of back testing. This week we'd probably do a round of back testing, and see how the Asian session reacts. You want to see what kind of volume the Asian session has. You want to see what kind of news is there in the Asian session. You want to see, what each pair is doing in that particular session. So since I will be trading the Asian session, I probably want to backtest this week, and from the following week start taking trades. But we'd be sharing ideas, discussing it, right? If you have experience in the forex market, why don't you all come over? We could help each other understand, discuss it. Probably you're seeing something that I'm not seeing and I'm missing out, and you could probably shed light to the entire chat, and And probably I'm seeing something that I could help you, so it's a win-win for both of us. Let's win together. And so yeah, it was awesome trading with y'all. So keep smiling, keep hustling, and keep moving forward. See y'all.